Yo, what's going on, guys? Today, I'll be showing you my games attempting to qualify for the next phase of the Cal Cup. I was already in the top 32, but they decided to put us into 4 groups of 8 players, and in each group, we would all face each other in a single best of 3 duel, and the top 4 performing players of each group would move on to the top 16. I wasn't able to commentate these games live, but I did record the live gameplay here, so I kind of just tried to give you guys my thought process during these games. I've got a beautiful E-Spirit to stop the Monk. I feel like I always manage to block my opponent's Monk before it gets my tower aggroed onto it. I could have went for the drill with the Executioner, but this drill deck does perform quite a bit better in double and triple elixir, so I didn't want to be too aggressive. I already knew he had RG from the start. I could have played the drill on the right side instead of going for an early Tesla, but I didn't want to be that aggressive because I knew he could counter the drill pretty easily with just like a bar barrel or something. Had a pretty awkward cycle. I just didn't want to die, to be honest, because I knew I could win this matchup even though it's kind of difficult. I knew maybe I could have a chance if I survived until double elixir at least. I thought the tower might go on the Phoenix, but it ended up going on the RG. I still kind of needed the Knight though just to distract the Phoenix a little bit. I knew he might try to go for the Evo RG, and he did. I was feeling pretty bad here. I thought I might have already lost, but I went for the guards just to kill the Firecracker. But then somehow the fat RG blocked the Firecracker, so it took longer than it should have to hit the Tesla. And I pretty much just lost from here, unfortunately. But keep in mind, this was a best of 3 duel, so I knew even if I'm down 0-1, I could still come back and win the whole thing. So, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next match. Honestly, I wasn't too happy about the previous game. I feel like I didn't even play that bad, I just had those bad guards, and that was mostly it. But maybe I could have been a little bit more conservative with my elixir, instead of using certain cards. For the second match, I knew I had to focus up. I decided to play an RG deck, RG Monk. Pretty solid deck, does counter quite a few things. Just went for the very aggressive RG because I had the counter pushing Phoenix, so there wasn't really any reason not to. Once I saw the mini Pekka, I knew he had Sparky. And I don't know how, but my RG actually got 0 damage. I was feeling pretty good in this matchup. I did have the Zap as well as the Monk. Monk can reflect Sparky, but the thing is if it's a good Sparky player, they do have quite a few tricks up their sleeves, like trying to zap your Monk at the perfect time so that ability doesn't go off and their Sparky kills it, or sometimes they can even get a Tornado off onto it if they have Tornado. But I still knew this matchup wouldn't be that good like it looks because he does usually play this deck kind of like a giant bridge spam deck rather than a Sparky deck sometimes, so I knew it could be still a bit tough to defend. Got a super good Fireball. I feel like that was quite a bad mini Pekka. I thought I'd have to go for the Monk here, but luckily the Fisherman was able to pull the mini Pekka, so I just went in for the RG and I knew I'd get quite a bit of damage. I was a little bit concerned though once I saw the Evo Knight because I just realized that my tower would not do too much against it. I got some damage, but honestly not even a crazy amount like I wanted. Maybe a bit of a bad E-Spirit by him. I mean, a Heal Spirit. I always get the spirits confused. I could have let this go, but I just had to Monk because I didn't want to take like 1,000 damage. I thought he might try to punish me here because he was definitely up a lot of elixir, but luckily he decided to play it passive. Dude, he was up like 5 elixir or more. I don't know why he didn't go in. I didn't pop my Monk ability because I just wanted to make sure I could defend if he made a push with this Ewiz, and he did decide to do so. I wasn't even sure if he had a Sparky at this point. He got a pretty good Knight, honestly. Could have maybe played the Fisherman a bit lower to avoid that, but luckily the Knight got kind of evaporated anyways. So I was defending pretty well. I wasn't in too much of a rush. I could have maybe played the Monk ability if I wanted to stop the Mega Minion, but I thought my Monk would still counter push with a decent amount of HP, and I just decided to go in for the RG. The reason why Monk is seen quite a bit in competitive play right now is because it's so good against the new Tower Troop. I tried to hit something like, I don't know, mini Pekka, anything, but he didn't play it. Got a pretty nice Zap and Barbell, but I was feeling quite bad at this point. I thought I might have just lost the entire match, actually. But somehow the mini Pekka died in time, but then the Fisherman still pulled the Giant back, which was huge. Because otherwise I might have just died, to be honest with you guys, I'm not gonna lie. And yeah, I was just alive, which I was very happy about. At this point, I just want to defend a little bit more instead of being too crazy with anything. I knew he would Giant here, and I thought I was in quite a bit of trouble because the Evo Knight is kind of invincible to our tower. But I was able to get my Monk down, and then at that point, I knew I could probably be fine. But he did get a pretty nice Evo Zap, which was a little bit concerning. But I was starting to build up my counter push here, and when you have a counter push, you can always play your RG with it. Because he couldn't really do much. Whatever he would play, the Fisherman's would just pull. And he finally played the Sparky after quite some time. The thing is, when you have an Inferno... No, not Inferno Dragon, I mean a Phoenix in your deck, it just makes Sparky kind of useless. Not useless, but it counters it so well, and then also I had the Zap as well, so he couldn't do too much with his Sparkies. So I just needed one more Fireball to win this match. He didn't even get anything in front of the Sparky, so Phoenix cleaned it up pretty easily. And at that point, I just had to cycle back. So I put us in a 1-to-1 situation. We were 1-to-1, so whoever won this match would win the entire best-of-3 duel. I decided to play Royal Hogs Earthquake. I'm very comfortable with this deck, so I knew I could play quite well even if I got a somewhat difficult matchup. I was hoping he would play some type of beatdown deck, that's why I put the Inferno Tower, but once I saw Poison, I was pretty sure he was playing Goblin Drill, which is quite a bad matchup for this deck. Especially having the Inferno Tower can really mess you up against Cycle. Got a nice Earthquake off, but the Duchess kind of just evaporated my piggies. I decided to go for the aggressive Evo Bomber. That might be... Or I knew that might have been my one hope to win this matchup, but he was able to block it. Still 3 Elixir out of him though, and I was able to get the King Tower activation against his Evo Bomber. Riley told me to go in for the piggies. I was on call with Riley. I don't know why Riley told me to do that. I mean, the little goblin was probably trying to sabotage me or something. I'm not sure why he told me to piggies. When Nikoko had Tesla, he just told me to and I trusted him. For nothing. Apparently. But I was fine, you know. Not the end of the world, only a -1 Elixir trade. And I wasn't feeling that horrible since I had my King Tower up. At least the Dagger Duchess, I knew would help me out quite a bit more in this matchup than a Princess Tower, so at least that was something. And I knew that he wouldn't really have any tanks since he wasted the Knight in his previous deck, so my little Prince would get quite a bit of value with the abilities. He kind of messed up and we got quite a bit of early damage with our little Prince. Quite a bad drill placement by him, not really sure why he did that for. And he did pop the last second ability. But I knew Evo Ice Spirit would do a fine job. But it did still get one shot on my tower. The only thing about Evo Ice Spirit is that I feel like half the time, most of its freezes don't even get to be used before the target either damages your tower or just dies. Unless it's a big troop like a golem or whatever. I went for an aggressive bomber. I knew that bombers might be my only way to win. That's why I kept on being so aggressive with them time and time again. Got my ability like 0.2 seconds late, but he messed up his Tesla. You guys might be thinking the gameplay isn't as perfect as it could be, but if you think about it, it's really impressive to even play decently while you're under so much pressure. Even top players like Mohamed Light tend to get nervous during competitions. It's just about how well you can handle it. Got some very nice piggies nibbles on the tower. And got a decent earthquake here on everything. I decided to go in for the piggies. In hindsight though, I feel like those piggies weren't really too useful. He was able to counter them very easily and very cheaply. I think I may have done them just to try to get an Evo Bomber lineup on the tower, but he was able to block it with the Tesla. So honestly not a good play, but wasn't the end of the world. Quite a bad Evo Bomber by him just feeding into our logs, so you can see he's also making quite a few misplays in this match. The main issue was the Evo Tesla was kind of just impossible for us to kill. I couldn't even play my piggies until it died. Maybe if I had Evo Tesla in my deck instead of Inferno Tower, I could have done something. I don't know why, but he kept on going for the Teslas kind of low, so I was able to Earthquake the tower and Tesla. My piggies did decide to run all the way back to the drill, kind of unfortunately, so they pretty much got wasted. But I was still looking pretty good. The thing is, I knew that since it was about to be triple elixir, it'd be like 100-0 for him during this time. Like some matchups, they can be fine early on, but then later in the game, they can become a lot more difficult. And this was one of those matchups where he could just completely poison drill cycle us in triple elixir, which he couldn't do quite as much earlier in the match. Got 0 piggies nibbles on the tower. Got a beautiful log, 0 hits from the Goblin Drill. He did ability, I just got a free delivery though, but he did waste our tower ammo. I played the little Prince, but honestly I maybe could have got an Evo Bomber, not really sure though, it would have been very tight. Once again, my piggies got kind of wrecked by the drill. It's just so annoying to go same lane as a drill deck when you have piggies, because half the time the piggies get pulled back and you just get nothing. Just want to cycle to another Earthquake, but got a really bad perfectly timed bomber. Honestly, it didn't really matter though since he played the NATO anyways. I had no idea that he had Tornado because he didn't play it until then. Was hoping for 1 Piggy Nibble, but I got 0. And at this point, I thought I might have lost already because Poison just does way more damage than an Earthquake. Dude, Poison is actually so broken, man. There's no point of Rocket Cycling anymore. Just Poison Cycle. Because Poison just does so much Crown Tower damage. Got a beautifully timed log once again, but just wasn't really able to get through that high Tesla once he actually started putting them in the right spot. And then NATO kind of just sealed the deal, so unfortunately I did lose my set to this guy. I got in a new duel up against a Rake. I kind of had to beat this guy in order to qualify for the next phase, so it was pretty much a do or die situation. I was lucky enough to have my pump nearly in my starting hand. I decided to play a Golem Pump deck. When I saw the Lightning, I knew it could be Pekka, which would be a pretty difficult matchup for Golem, since he had the Zap as well. I just went in for the very aggressive Golem, because I knew it would be a hard matchup, since I knew he most likely had Pekka. So I just wanted to play it a little bit aggressive. And there he did play the Pekka. This matchup is very difficult because they can always zap your bats and whatever else you might play, and then they also have the Lightning to pretty much destroy your entire push or kill your pump. It's very hard to break through Lightning with this deck because Lightning counters E-Drag, Night Witch, pretty much everything. I did go for the Skelly King, but if I saw he played the Baby Dragon, I would have just went for the E-Drag instead, so I wasn't too happy about it. But I did get a pretty nice Skeleton King ability after he wasted the Barbara, so he was forced to zap as well. Wasn't too bad of a start, but I knew he might try to Ram Rider or do something. Wasn't a horrible interaction, not too good either though. The thing is, once he got up to the Evo Zap, I knew it would also be very hard to even stop a Ram Rider push from breaking through. I didn't want to pump right away because I knew he could try to pressure. Even Pekka at the bridge can be kind of hard to stop. I decided to go for the pump here because I was pretty sure he wouldn't go for a Pekka into our bomber. And yeah, he did decide to Lightning. I did kind of want to just Golem here because I knew I was up a couple of Elixir, if not more, but I knew he could also ability. Yeah, so very luckily I didn't Golem, otherwise I would have just lost the game, I'm sure. I knew this matchup is very bad, but I still wanted to play my best to have the best chance possible to win. I decided to go in for the Golem. The thing is, he can't really pressure too well in this matchup. He more so has to counter push rather than just making a push, because if he makes a push, our tower pretty much destroys the Ram Rider alone. I went for the very aggressive Evo Bomber. I knew that would be my one chance to win, but he was able to block it pretty quickly. Went for the E-Drag. I knew he would probably Lightning, so I went for the Skelly King just to body block. And I was able to block it, but unfortunately Night Witch does have less HP than an E-Drag. Went for the Skelly King ability. I thought it might be pretty good, but the Baby Dragon did kind of run backwards. Still wasn't a bad ability though. Got just a tiny bit of chip damage. And the Little Prince did die somehow. Just wanted to capitalize off the Night Witch, so I played the Golem way up high. But the Pekka was kind of just a stone wall that I couldn't really push much into. And yeah, our push kind of just died here, so I decided to pump up. The Evo Zap was actually quite good for him too. Here I knew he would probably try to make a Ram Rider push, so I just wanted to kill the Pekka quickly with our Evo Bats and just kill it before it even started. I did a decent job of it, but the stuff still kind of survived, except the Pekka. E-Drag somehow lined up on the Little Prince too, which was really good for us. And it did get one final shot, which was huge. He kind of missed the Zap as well. And the Ram Rider just barely wasn't able to connect. I was so scared that it would have, and if it did, I think I would have just lost right then and there. Got a really good Skelly King ability. I just played the Golem in the back. I was starting to get a little bit of momentum in this match, but it wasn't looking too good. With this deck, if you're going to win in this type of matchup, you kind of just need to take their tower within the first minute or two in order to win safely. I went for another Evo Bomber at the bridge on the Pekka. But he was always blocking it pretty well. I could have played the Tornado too, but I didn't want to overcommit too much. And I did go for the Skelly King ability. It seemed kind of hard for him to stop sometimes when he had a bad cycle. Got a few Skelly ticks on the tower, but he did get the Zap down. Golemites did chip away a bit as well for us. And look at the Skellies on the left, no, right side. Got quite a bit of damage. Went for the Evo Bats just to heal them up before they crossed the bridge to the Dagger Duchess. I knew he would probably go for the Lightning, so I played the Skelly King once again. Honestly, it was kind of bad because he was able to avoid our Golem with the Lightning, so well played by him for that. Our tower did get on the baby dragon instead of the little prince ability like he wanted it to. Had to waste the Evo Bomber on defense, unfortunately. I was going to pump here, but I just decided to play the E-Drag up high. I knew he would go for the lightning. And I was pretty sure I could win just off of defending, and yeah, that's basically it. But then he played the Evo Zap, and I realized he actually might win with another lightning. So I had to Tornado, and I just hoped that that would be enough to win. And you guys will see, I just barely won. In a very, very difficult matchup, I won by 21 HP. Was really happy with that. Next up, I decided to play this Miner Poison deck. It was a pretty safe pick since Lightning was out from him. Lightning does counter Queen and Tesla pretty easily, but since he had it out, I was feeling like I could defend against most matchups pretty well. Wasn't really sure what to expect once I saw the guards. When I saw the Ice Spirit too, I knew it would either have to be Goblin Drill or Hog Rider, but once I saw the Bomber too, I knew it was going to be Goblin Drill. Drill is a fine matchup, but it definitely is beatable for them just because of how broken the Evo Bomber is. It should be a very good matchup for Miner, but just because Drill is so broken and Evo Bomber, it's definitely losable if you play badly. Got a couple Miner hits on the tower, and got very good log value as well on everything. Was pretty nice to have the Ghost in this deck against Goblin Drill, so I didn't have to save my log or anything like that for defense. Went for the Ghost in front. He did go for it to the side though, so had to waste those Evo Skellies. Wasn't really too bad for us though. Here I thought he might have been in a little bit of trouble because he, I don't know, just didn't have too much in cycle, but he was able to get a few things down. I was feeling pretty good about this because I know I could just play the Tesla and then it would kill the Mighty Miner, but also the Bomber would shoot at it and then activate our King Tower. He already called a good game. I knew it definitely wasn't a good game at this point. The thing is, I kind of wanted to get a 2-0 win here against Raken. I could win 2-1, but I kind of wanted to try to get 2-0 because if I did, it could give me a better chance at winning the tiebreakers. Basically, if multiple people have the same amount of wins and losses, it'll go to tiebreakers, which can be different things like win rate, the amount of crowns you get, and different stuff like that. There was no point really to play my Queen ability since Tesla would just kill it either way, so I let it die there to the guards. Went for the Miner in the back. Kind of got caught in an awkward cycle though to where the Miner wasn't really getting tanked for very often. I did catch the Drill pretty nicely and I went for the aggressive Poison. It's easier to Poison cycle than to get much Miner chip damage in this type of matchup, I feel like. I feel like the Tesla was super good for both of us. Got a beautiful log on completely everything. Here I was in a little bit of trouble. I had to waste the whole Evo Tesla, which was quite horrible for me. I kind of wanted to do something better with it. Went for the Miner trying to block an Evo Bomber or whatever he would play, but it didn't work out. I just didn't want to take the risk, to be honest, in case he tried to cycle to his Evo Bomber quickly. Went for the Ice Golem just to kill the Tesla. It's very hard to make even any decent Miner Ice Golem pushes if they have their Tesla up high. I don't know why he poisoned that, so I just poisoned his tower. It was a pretty bad poison if you ask me, by him. Knew he might drill, but he decided to just wait a little bit longer, so I set up with the Tesla just to block whatever he might play up high. He was able to get the Evo Tesla down, which was pretty good for him, and unfortunately the Evo Tesla stunned our Ice Golem, so the Miner didn't get tanked for, which was kind of unlucky for us. Had to go for the extra log here on the Drill, but I was able to counter everything pretty nicely. Went for the Queen way up high, just to make sure he couldn't try anything funny. His tower was already out of ammo, so I just decided to keep on pressuring. Went for the Miner, just to try to tank for our Queen a bit, but the guards forced us to play the early ability anyways. I was able to get the Drill super nicely there with the Ghost finally catching on to the fact that he would always play the Drills on the side. I was up quite a bit, so I just decided to Poison Cycle and not be too crazy, but not too calm as well, because anything can happen when they're playing Drill. You just have to make sure you keep up with the aggression. Was able to get a super nice Drill catch with the Ice Golem. You can kind of just realize what their patterns are after a little bit. Went for the pretty aggressive Archer Queen. The one reason I like Archer Queen better than Little Prince sometimes is because it can be so hard for your opponent to stop if they don't have the right cycle. It's just a very aggressive card. I mean, Little Prince is aggressive too, but I feel like Archer Queen is even more aggressive. I was forced to log the Drill once again, but it was fine. Not the end of the world. Better to be a little bit safer than to get wrecked. He went for kind of a weird drill way off to the side. Not really sure why. And here I pretty much thought I had it in the bag if I just played some decent defense, to be honest. Kept on spamming at the bridge. Didn't really even need the ghost for defense. Just wanted to have our log ready for the drill if we needed it. So yeah, I pretty much thought I won. I just played the poison. But then, the Evo Bomber actually got on my tower from that far away. I have no idea how it did that. But I was still winning. So I was just so thankful that Evo Bomber didn't steal it from me. I did end up qualifying for the next phase, so I'm now in the top 16, and I'll be playing again next weekend. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye!